And welcome back to another episode of DIY Skills with your boy Kev, and today I'll be taking you through how to repair your disc brakes. And this is a standard for most saloon cars, and it's equipped with the front wheels, or for most cars that are sportier and performance cars, you'll find disc brakes on all four wheels. And this should be a DIY that you can do at home or your driveway. For the tools that we are going to use, it's quite simple. We'll need a jack and its components, a wheel spanner, and a number 14 wrench. You can see it's written there, 14, and our stand, and our car that we are going to service. Before you jack up the car, make sure you find these grooves that are aligned at the bottom of the running board, because these are the grooves that are used to raise up the car before you remove the wheel. Ensure you secure the wheels before raising up the car with the jack, and I'm sure this cannot go anywhere. Loosen the lug nuts beforehand and ensure you take care of your back while doing so. So the wheel is out, and as you can see, it's quite simple. So this is the disc, and this whole unit is called the calipers, and within it there is a piston, and as you can see, this is the line, the brake fluid line that feeds the brake piston. This here is the bleeder valve, and this one is quite bitter because it's not been running for a very long time. And this is the signal cable. It goes all the way into the engine bay and into the controller, and that's what controls the ABS. And as you can see, the ABS sensor is right there. I've already cleaned the braking components, and I'll show you just how to remove the brake pads, how to service your calipers and caliper pins, and it's quite simple, and all we need is our 14mm wrench. So holding the caliper in place is a set of caliper pins and a 14mm bolt on both top and bottom, and this is a standard for most cars, whether it's Nissan, Toyota, Honda, Subaru, all through. There are few exceptions of performance cars that has multiple pistons within the caliper. The reason they are called disc brakes is because the pads press on a disc, which is this one, and you can see it's shaped in the form of a disc, and it rotates along with the hub. And this one is what the pads press onto. Right here you can see all round on both sides, front and rear, when you step on the brakes. And for the caliper, as you can see, this is the piston right here, and this here is where the inlet pipe goes into, and you can see the bleeder valve right there. So this whole unit is locked in place onto the disc, and it has a allowance to move whenever you press on the brakes, so that when you press on the brakes, the piston presses on one side and it pulls onto the caliper, which in turn pulls onto the brake pads and presses onto the disc during the action of stopping the car. And now that we have all the components out, let's just learn what we have here. Starting with the suspension components, we have this here as the spring and the shock, which provide cushioning for the bumps and road imperfections. Then this here is the drive shaft going into our gearbox, and differential therein. Here we have this The whole thing is the steering knuckle and the steering down below. You can see we have our ball joint right there. It's not quite visible because of the light and the camera, but from this side you can see. So in most cases this is the ball joint, and that's the CV joint that the shaft goes into, and that's a rubber boot, the black rubber piece there. And here we have what is remaining here is what we call the caliper bracket, which you can see the pins go through, right? That's one hole, and right here we have a second hole for the lower caliper pin, and it's held in place by 20mm bolts. This is for Nissan Sunny. Other cars come with number 17 as standard, especially Toyota. And this is the brake fluid line, and this is the brake fluid line going into the master cylinder, and this is the ABS line, and the ABS is connected right there to the CV joint. Inserting our rubber boots into the caliper pins, just like that, and this goes all the way in there like that, and that's how it locks. You have to grease it before you return, but I don't have grease with me. I'll do it later. And the other one too, the lower one too, goes in the same way, just like that, and you insert. Ensure the rubber boot is covering the whole unit clean and clear, so that you don't have dust particles settling into the unit. The next, we are going to need our support clips, and these ones, they are two, but to know how they go back, you just look at them, and this is the way they go back. They rest in that spot like that, and this one on the bottom, they can all replace each other, one at the bottom and that one at the top. Then our discs go in next. Remember, the one with this goes at the back, so let's start with the one at the back and align it so that the curvature is the same as the disc, and that's this way, and it goes in onto our caliper pins. The other one too, the one for the front side, you can see this is quite beat up, but I'm just showing you how to do it. I'll change them once I get the new ones in place. I've already ordered them, but they have not arrived yet. Here are the brake pads. They just go in like that. You slide them right in, and the next piece is our caliper with the piston, and it goes right in just like so. Slides back right in, and then we use our 14mm bolt on the back. Ensure you line it so that it locks. And just like so, we have our first bolt in place, and the one for the bottom. Hand tighten the bolts to a snug fit, and then tighten them using the wrench to the specified torque spec. After tightening the bolts, you just return your wheel. Don't worry, I have a puncture, but I'll get it repaired soon enough. I just wanted to show you guys how to repair on your driveway.